Boys, got the Hellcat, 707 horsepower. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a really good day. Any day is a good day when you got a Hellcat. 707 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque. Oh yeah. I didn't even know that. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm here with the Hellcat. It's a 2016, I believe, or 2017. I think it's a late model 16. So it's not a 2018, but nevertheless, it is still the Hellcat, 707 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque. I like the Dodge emblem that they have there in the headlight. It's a little different from the Challenger because you get the Hellcat emblem, I believe, in there. But I mean, it just looks so aggressive. This thing looks so good from the front. You got the hood scoop right there. You know, putting some cold air on that blower. This thing just looks so nice, and it's all blacked out. The owner has, you know, blacked out wheels, dark black tint, black paint. Everything is just murdered out black, and I like the red Brembo brake calipers to go with the look of the car. Now, coming to the back, I do like these inlets right here for to let that air flow through. This is pretty much why the Charger has better aerodynamics than the Challenger does. It has all these little aero bits around the car. And I mean, it's not, you know, super functional, like going to take you to the track and help you run like a fast Nürburgring time, but you know, it helps out a little bit more than the Challenger would. As you can see, we have the SRT badge with the Hellcat emblem right there. Real nice, and you can see the exhaust right here. I don't know if we can see the exhaust setup under there, but there's no. He deleted the mufflers. I think he deleted the mid mufflers, so there's not as many mufflers as it should be, which is why it's so loud and it pops so much. But this car is insane. It's a blast. It's got the 275s here in the back. Not super big tires, but they hold traction pretty well. He actually has 275s all the way around. 275s in the front and 275s in the back. Pretty good balance for this car. These tires don't have a whole lot of tread left, but it's not breaking traction loose at all. Then again, I'm not really, you know, pinning the gas down, and I haven't turned traction control off yet. I'm still debating if I should or if I shouldn't, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to. Yeah, all in all, this car looks really, really attractive from outside. From the side, you know, you got these nice lines, and I like the way how it goes all the way to the back to that nice spoiler in the back. How it goes to this nice spoiler in the back, and then you have the nice little lift here. It just makes it look more aggressive, much more aggressive actually. Got the little fin up top. And this car is a nice looking car, man. Super luxurious on the inside, but super mean on the outside. And it's just a super nice muscle car, man. This is what you call a real deal muscle car. 700 horsepower, man. Get you to 200 miles per hour. You can't complain about something like this, man. It's not too much I can say about the outside of it because, I mean, if you've seen one Charger, you've seen them all. The design really isn't different at all, except for, like I said, these little aero bits here, little inlet here, and there's a spoiler right there that does not come standard with the V6, and of course the emblem here, and this hood. And that's the biggest. That's really the only difference between this and the V6 or the RT Charger. So, like I said, pretty much, you know, the same with all Chargers except for the engine. So it's not really much to talk about here. But what we can do is check the engine under the hood. So let's pop the hood. Let's go ahead and do that. Ooh, there we go. Ooh, there we go. This is the 6.2 liter Hemi I was telling you about, and this is the blower on top, the supercharger, which gets it to 707 horsepower. My guess, without the blower, it might be right around, pretty much around the same power as a Scat Pack, even though the engines are different. But just look at that orange engine block. I love that, man. It's like old school Hemi, for real, for real. But I mean, it's pretty much out in the open. Nothing crazy to talk about under here. They got it compacted really really nice. You got the intake right here. Nothing too serious. I mean, it's the basic intake. He did not get a cold air intake, as I can see. But this is pretty much the meat and potatoes of the whole store here. This blower right here, don't want to touch it too much, but that's a supercharger right there. That's what's giving us that supercharger whine when we hit the gas. And this engine is just, it's ridiculous. It's super clean. He keeps it really nice. And I could just look at this engine all day. You see that? Supercharged Hemi. Oh yeah, you don't want to mess with this, man. And just look at this supercharger. I mean, it just looks insane. look at it. The bolts. I'm a car freak, so this is really just like driving me crazy right now. I mean, just look at it, man. That supercharger, man. And I can just imagine what it'd be like taking this supercharger off and throwing it on my Corvette, even though it probably wouldn't match up that well. But I mean, hey, it's worth a try. Of course, you guys know that, you know, Chargers have a whole lot of trunk space. I don't think I need to show you guys the trunk, but I'll show you anyways. All this trunk space is massive back here, so much space. I'm pretty sure I can fit back here very comfortably. I'm not gonna go back there because I don't feel like climbing in the car. And what is this? Oh, he's got an extra brake pedal, looks like. Maybe he changed it out. Spoiler right there, I'm telling you, man, I like that. All right, let's take a look on the inside. All right, the first thing, let's talk about these seats. You got the nice SRT Hellcat emblem embroidered into the seat. Really nice leather. I like this. I love the material that they use for these seats. It's not the type of leather that gets really, you know, sticky. In the summertime, it's still nice and smooth, but you know, it's just right. And we have the heated and cooled seats, so you're gonna see the perforated material right there. But I mean, these in the side bolstering, really nice, really supportive. Not huge, but just big enough to fit pretty much anybody in there snug. Yeah, he took off the racing type brake. I know it's really grippy, so it can stick to the bottom of your shoe if you're not careful. Here on the steering wheel, you see we got the SRT on the wheel, and we have all the phone controls, all the hands-free phone control type stuff, directional buttons. Then we have the cruise control buttons there. And the important part, we have the paddle shifters. Shift down, shift up. That is basically for when you want to shift the gears by yourself, when you want to get a little sporty in your driving habits. And I haven't used the paddle shifters yet, but I'm definitely going to use them once we get on the road. We have these buttons here. Now, in the Challenger Scat Pack Shaker review I did, I pretty much told you what the sport button did. But this is an actual Hellcat, so we have the SRT button. So let me go ahead and start the car up so we can see exactly what that does. Like I was saying in that Uconnect, this car also has Uconnect, just like the Challenger I did. So I mean, a lot of these features are the same exact features that were in the Challenger, but I'm still going to go over them. Yeah, we have the SRT button here, so let's go ahead and push that, see what happens. This is what happens when the SRT button is pushed. As you can see, we have the red key here, so we are pushing 700 plus horsepower. If we had the black key, it would be, I believe, limited to about 500 horsepower, I believe. But we have the 700 horsepower. And traction is set up in street, suspension is set up in sport, and paddle shifters are on. So I'm pretty sure when I hit that SRT button, it automatically turns the paddle shifters on. But yeah, man. So you can change all these things around to change the settings. I'm not going to change the settings. I'm sure he has it set up the way he likes it. But let's press the launch button and see what that shows. See, look, it says to launch vehicle must be in drive. All right, so let's put it in drive. Now, it says to launch, press brake and quickly apply full throttle. So we're going to do that. And that's what happens when you try to launch it, basically. But I'm not going to launch it because I'm in a parking lot. People look at me crazy. So, go ahead and turn launch off. There we go. All right, and now we're back in regular mode. So that's basically what launch control does. You put your foot on the brake, mash the gas all the way to the floor, and then you release the brake when you're ready to take off. The armrest here, it's in a nice position so where you can pretty much just put your arm right here and drive the car. But everything else is pretty much, I mean, you're pretty much, if you've seen one Charger, you've seen them all, like I said before. I'm going to show you guys the back seat. Pretty spacious. I mean, you can pretty much fit anybody back here. You've got, you can control the heat. You got heated and cooled seats back here, it looks like, too. The USB ports back there. And let's go ahead and get on the road and take this thing for a drive. what insanity sounds like. First of all, first things first. This thing sounds so insane. Everybody I passed by is looking like, what in the hell is that thing? God, this thing sounds ridiculous. I'm gonna get on it a little bit so you can hear it. Oh, that's insane. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And this thing, you know, this thing is super smooth. I mean, I know it's a big four-door sedan, but for what it is, how much power it has, and the, you know, the abilities that this car has, it rides really, really smooth. I mean, you would be able to mistake this for a Cadillac or a Lincoln or something the way it rides. It's a nice Mustang. It's a Roush. Stage 2, it looks like. But this thing is so smooth in the way it rides. It's ridiculous. And then again, you have that exhaust sound, so you'll never get tired of this thing. Now this is the Hellcat, so it does have the 6.2 liter supercharged V8 Hemi, pushing out 707 horsepower and 650 foot-pounds of torque. But get on it again so you can hear it. Supercharged one. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh man, let me calm down. Oh, it's a Stingray over there. You don't want to cross. Oh man. And you know I'm a Corvette enthusiast. I'm a fan of Corvettes. I love Corvettes. It's my favorite car in the world. But being inside this car, you kind of know they can't mess with you right now. I mean, 460 horsepower, 707. I think I know which one I'll pick every day, hands down, no matter what. But this car is insane. I mean, this car is insane. The steering wheel of this car feels very, very good. It has a kind of a, it's not a traditional flat bottom steering wheel like the C7 Corvettes have, but it's fairly flat, and it gives you more leg room for when you're, you know, driving spiritedly. Now it does have the same the notches on 10 and 2, like in the Challenger I did not too long ago, the Scat Pack Shaker review I did. If you didn't see that video, go check it out. The steering wheel is pretty much the same as it was in that car. It feels a little bit bigger though, just in my opinion. I might be wrong or might be over exaggerating, but it feels just a tad bit bigger. But you know, it feels really nice. It's got this nice leathery grip on it. It's got all the audio controls and the phone controls on it. And of course, we have the paddle shifters. Now, this car is equipped with the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, which is, in my opinion, the transmission I would get in any Hellcat if you're planning on doing it, if you're planning on doing real hardcore drag racing. If you're just planning on doing some nice driving here and there on the weekends, then you should opt out for the 6-speed. It's going to be much more fun for you. But if you're planning on doing some real deal racing, drag racing, this is going to be the transmission for you. Now, you see with the windows up, this exhaust that he has on this car, I can't remember exactly what exhaust setup he has. It's not completely straight pipe, but there's no mufflers in the back, pretty much. So that's why it has such a huge exhaust note when you get on it and when you start it up cold start. But when you roll the windows up, I'm just cruising here at about 40 miles per hour, about 1200 RPM. It's not obnoxious. It's not obnoxiously loud. I mean, partly due to the 8-speed transmission, it can just drop down in 6th, 7th, or 8th gear, and you can just turn over all day long without barely hearing anything. But as soon as you hit that gas, it sounds like a fucking dragon. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Did you hear the pops? This thing pops like crazy, man. Oh my god. I'm gonna roll the window back down so you can hear that. It pops like crazy. Whew. Now I want to talk about these seats that I'm sitting in. They're very, very comfortable, and I showed you previously in the walk around, but just to talk about how they make you feel, I'm more of a slim kind of guy, so you know, you're kind of skeptical about getting in big cars like this because they're usually tailored for the bigger guys, you know, wider waist, stuff like that, bigger midsection. But with me being smaller and a skinnier guy, I fit perfect in these seats. I mean, it hugs me perfectly. It's got the side bolster and it's super supportive, super soft. These are the heated and cooled seats, by the way. So that's an added plus to the luxury feel and the convenience of this car. But these seats, they're really great. I mean, they don't make your legs go numb. They feel like you can go on a really long, nice road trip, or you can take it to the racetrack. It'll support you enough so that you can do whatever it is that you want to do with this car. You know, driving this car, the hood, you can see the little bulge in the hood where where the supercharger is, because this car is supercharged, that blower is sitting right on top of the motor, so you're gonna need a little extra hood clearance. That's why they have that hood scoop that you see on Hellcats, to allow more room and space for that blower sitting on top of the motor, on top of that 6.2 liter Hemi. That sounds ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Now comparing this Hellcat Charger to the Challenger's Cat Pat Shaker that I did a review on, I just want to talk about how big this car feels compared to the Challenger. In my opinion, you can kind of mistake these cars for one another once you get behind the wheel, because I mean, the size difference, it might be, you know, more of a difference than I'm thinking of in my head, but the biggest difference is obviously going to be the length of the two cars. This is going to be a little bit longer, but that also helps you put the power down easier. The wheelbase is much longer, you got more weight transfer to deal with, and it's just an all-around better car for acceleration and top speed, which is why when the Hellcats came out in 2015, it was a well-known fact that the Chargers were a little bit faster and a little bit quicker than the Challengers, because the Challenger is like a big brick. I mean, it's no aerodynamics going to the car whatsoever. I don't even know if they put it in a damn wind tunnel, but it doesn't matter when you have over 700 horsepower to the crank. You don't really have to worry about aerodynamics if you're just going to be doing quarter miles and maybe a half mile event every now and then. But this right here, this is made for the half mile, the quarter mile, the mile, whatever. In 2015, like I said, that Charger Hellcat could reach a top speed of approximately 204 miles per hour, while the Challenger, because of the bad aerodynamics, also nice C3 Corvette right there for sale, looks like a 78. But where was I? Oh yeah, oh nice 50, looks like a 50s truck right there. Man, got some nice cars over here. But the Challengers were limited because of the horrible aerodynamics and how heavy it is. They're limited to about 199 miles per hour, which is no slouch. I mean, it's not a slow car by any means, but putting it next to a Charger, you know, this one is a little bit more aerodynamic, a little more slippery. And the Charger does weigh a tad bit more than the Challenger does, but those aerodynamics help it out when it comes to top speed and acceleration and stuff like that. Now, I have absolutely no clue where the hell I'm going right now, because I came all the way out here to my buddy's house to do a review on this, and he's in a different town than I am, so I have no clue where I'm going right now. I don't really want to get on the interstate because I'm not sure how far it's going to take me. I mean, on my way over here, there was like barely any exits. So if you missed your exit, you're pretty much like SOL. So I'm not trying to get lost. I'm not trying to, you know, put too many miles on the car. I just really want to get a nice feel for it and drive around on some nice roads. But with me not being from around here, I have absolutely no clue where the nice roads are. So we're just going to drive around and see if we can find them. That supercharger whine. Oh, I don't know if the GoPro is picking it up that well, but oh my god, that fart, oh man, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that supercharger whine, you hear it just faintly, it's just faint, and it sounds so fucking good. Oh my gosh. And I'm just cruising at like 45 miles per hour right now, and it's just sounding like a damn dragon. I mean, I don't understand how you can own this car and not be in prison. Man, this car is phenomenal. It's so nice to drive. I mean, you don't really feel like you're driving a 700 horsepower muscle car sedan at that. You feel like you're driving a, I'll be honest with you. It feels like I'm driving a Cadillac CTS V with a little more horsepower. That's exactly how it feels. That's exactly how it feels. This feels like a CTS V on crack. And that's exactly what it is. RT. I couldn't imagine owning something like this and driving it every day, because I mean, I know they say you get numb to it, you get numb to the speed, but I don't know about this. I'm not sure about getting numb to this. Okay, it looks like a pretty open area right there. One more pull in Mexico. Oh my gosh. That is ridiculous. Oh, listen to that pop. I mean, even though this is a muscle car and it's a pretty well-known car, everyone is still staring when you ride past them, and I think it has something to do with this exhaust. The fact that this is not a normal exhaust and you have so many pops and crackles, everyone's looking around like, what the hell is that out here? So everyone is like breaking their neck when I ride by. Plus, I'm a young-looking guy. So, you know, the younger you look, the more looks you're gonna get from others, because they don't really expect you to be in a car this expensive or this powerful, I guess you could say. But I mean, it's not my car, so what are you gonna say? But yeah, I enjoy getting those looks because I'm a car fan. I'm a car guy, so I know how it feels to see a car that's like your dream car. You're like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, that guy's lucky. I know that feeling. So, you know, I'm all for the stares. I'm like giving people the thumbs up when they give me the thumbs up. I'm like, yeah, I know. Even though it's not my car, I'm not gonna tell them that in traffic. But yeah, man, it's a good feeling when people look at you and have that look that I had when I was a kid. Like, whoa, look at that. That's cool. Like a Hellcat. So yeah, man, it's a great feeling. And of course, like I said, this car is all blacked out with the black tint, with the dark black tint. So, you know, it's keeping the sun out pretty well. Even though I have the AC on, I was sweating like a dog earlier, won't lie. But, you know, even with the AC, even when I had the AC off, when I started riding it, it's not that bad. I mean, it protects you from the sunlight pretty well. But then again, that's what it's made to do with this type of tint on it. But, yeah, this car is it's just so fun to drive. And I mean, it's operating at perfect operating temperatures, actually a little bit cooler than what you would think it is with the supercharger being a hot summer day here in Florida. It's 90 degrees outside right now, and the engine is running at about what, 190, 200 degrees. I mean, like, that's nothing, man. That is literally nothing. But all right, make another U-turn here. Man, did you hear that Camaro? Make another U-turn here. Then we're really gonna have some fun. All right, here we go. One of the last pulls is making a good one. Oh, there we go. Got some wheel spin. There we go. There we go. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. So finally, we broke the tires loose. I'm saying finally like it's just so hard to do so. But finally, we got the tires to break loose. It takes doing a pull at about 20, 30 miles per hour to do it. This car is very controllable with the power. And I know that's weird to say because when you have 707 horsepower and more importantly 650 foot-pounds of torque, controllable is the last word that comes to mind when you want to you know, describe the power delivery of this car. But it is insane. I love this car. I don't think that there's another four-door sedan that compares to this, except for the CTS-V, of course. But I mean, even with that, I'm not sure if I would ever pick the CTS-V over this because, number one, I mean, Cadillac is a great brand. I've always loved Cadillac. It's basically a branch of GM. But when it comes to Dodge, Dodge has that pedigree, that muscle car, drag racing balls to the wall, do what you want to do, bad boy pedigree. They have that name behind them. It backs them up. And I love that. I love the Mopar. You can't really close to hitting this, my boy. I love that Mopar or no par slogan that Mopar fans like to use. I love the I just love the seriousness that they have behind this. These Mopar guys, they take this stuff serious, and I appreciate the fact that they do because me being a Corvette guy and taking everything serious, it's really refreshing. It's really refreshing to have, you know, another fan base of car enthusiasts who really stand behind their product and stay true to their word, like as I would. So it's just a great feeling. The visibility out of this car is actually pretty good, but then again, what four-door sedan car is not going to be good when it comes to visibility? Because I mean, they're made to give you good visibility out of the rear area. Because I mean, when you get a four-door sedan, you're going to be carrying around kids and pets and family and stuff like that. So, like I said, you can look over here and pretty much see everything. There's not really a huge blind spot with this car. But then again, you still, oh, there's that C3 again. But then again, you still want to check. You see it? You still, and there's the truck. You still want to check just to be sure that you know, everything is clear. But then again, you have the blind spot monitoring system, so it's not going to be super hard to do that. But I mean, this car is just so much fun. The tires don't break traction as easy as you would think they do in a Charger. If it was the Challenger Hellcat, I'm pretty sure it would. But this is the Charger, so they don't break loose as easy as you think it would. Rides really smooth. Huge thanks to the owner of this car for allowing me to do this review. It's another straightaway. I'm not gonna floor it. 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 All right, so yeah, this car is ridiculous, man. That supercharger one, I don't know what type of gas mileage I would get in this car, because I would always be trying to at least rev over 2,500 to 3,000 RPM just to hear that supercharger whine. God, it sounds so good. And I'm pretty sure everyone that I pass by agrees with me that it sounds that good. But I can't get over how fun this car is to drive. You get this sense that you can't be beat in this car. You hear that exhaust, you hear that supercharger whine, you know in your head you got 707 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque, so you pretty much feel like nobody can beat you. And we're gonna hit this exhaust one more time. No traffic, so here we go. Shit! Oh my gosh. Did you hear that? This car is ridiculously fast. So fast, I mean crazy fast. You don't understand how fast these cars are until you get into them and start driving them and put your foot down. I still didn't put it to the floor yet. I didn't put the pedal to the floor and it just shut off. I mean, you don't understand, like, it's mind-boggling how fast this car is. And now I understand. See, I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, Challengers, Hellcats, Corvettes, mostly Corvettes, but a lot of Hellcats and Demons and stuff like that too. And I watch Tall Guy car reviews videos, and seeing him drive his Hellcat, it kind of, you know, threw me for a loop, because I'm like, yeah, I know it's fast, but I see his reaction. It's like, is it really that fast? Yes, it's that fast. Tall Guy car reviews reaction is definitely justified for how fast this car is. I mean, he's got a modified Hellcat pushing somewhere around 1,000 horsepower, maybe, to the crank, not the wheels. But this is insane. It feels very smooth in the way it drives. I mean, the turn in is pretty sharp. I mean, it doesn't turn like, it's not an immediate turn, but it's pretty sharp. But this car is just phenomenal. I mean, I can't talk about it enough about the speed, because I know people, you know, you get into Hellcats and the Demons and the Chargers and Challengers, you want to hear about the U-Connect system, you want to hear about how it feels, you want to hear about, you know, the seats, you want to know all the nice little features about the car. But I mean, let's be honest, let's be serious here. If you got yourself inside of a Hellcat, would you be talking about, you know, other stuff, or would you be talking about how fast this thing is? That's why I keep mentioning how fast it is, because every time you put your foot down, you just can't think of anything else. It takes the thought process out of your brain to where all you think about is speed. And now, you know what? I just went over a pothole. This suspension took it pretty good. The dampening on this thing is really sophisticated, or more sophisticated than I thought it would be. The brakes, the feeling I'm getting from the brakes in this car is that these are really good brakes. And I'm pretty sure that if you take this car to a track, you will be able to fully understand the nature of these brakes, how they operate, and just how crisp they are. But from what I'm doing, they feel really solid. I mean, I feel like I can really stomp on the brakes and stop this car on a dime. But yeah, the brakes have a really good feel to it. They're Brembos and they're slotted rotors, so I'm pretty sure you don't get much brake fade. If you do, it's going to be, you know, tiny brake fade, not too much. Go straight here. But that tiny supercharger whine is enough to drive me crazy. Oh my God, that sounds so nice. One day I've got to own a supercharged vehicle just to hear that whine. I mean, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. The Charger gives you much more confidence in your driving ability than the Challenger does. And I think it's because it's heavier, and like I said, the wheelbase is much longer, so you have that bigger feeling of stability, and it feels like it's not really going to slide away from you, even though it can slide away from you, and it will. But I'm not really worried about that, because number one, I know how to drive. Number two, I'm not driving crazy yet. And I'm gonna say yet a lot in this video, because it's a lot of stuff that I wish I could do. Like, I'm not gonna do a burnout with this car. These tires are not mine, and the tires are already, you know, on the way out, so I'm not gonna make them have to get new tires immediately. Do you hear that supercharger? All right, you guys ready for a pull? All right, let's get a real pull. Starting at about 55. Let's see. Shit! That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, I'm at about 50 right now. All right, here we go. Hold on. Make sure nothing's around. All right, here we go. Oh my God! Do you hear the pops when it's done? Woo! Hey! Woo! Hey, this thing is too fast. This thing is too fast, man. Too fast. Oh my gosh, this thing is insane. Ridiculous. How is this guy not in prison? I wouldn't be able to keep my foot out of it for more than like 5 minutes at a time. The exhaust alone on this car will make everybody move out of your way. This car is just insane. I mean, There's no other way for me to explain this car to you than just say it's insane. Now, I know everyone calls these things boats, but with 700 horsepower, you can call it whatever you want to call it, in my opinion. But driving this car, I do get a strong sense of having a lot of weight that I'm pulling around and going around turns. You can feel that weight, you know, going back and forth. But I mean, it's not really bothering me much. Now, when I was in the Scat Pack, it's a little more noticeable. Maybe because it was the Challenger instead of the Charger, so that, you know, there's a shorter wheelbase and you don't have that much more room for that, the weight to transfer. But this, it feels like a big long car, but it still feels really agile. Growing up, I've always loved muscle cars. I've loved muscle cars. They've always been like my favorite genre of the automobile. And driving this is kind of like living my childhood dream of like really driving a real, true muscle car. Oh my gosh! Do you hear that supercharger one? Oh man, let me just shut up for a second. Let me just shut up. Oh my god. But yeah, like where was I? Oh yeah, like I was saying, I know I drove the Scat Pack Shaker, and that is a true muscle car. I give you that. That's what you. Oh no, this is turn only lane. Oh no, that is pretty much true muscle car right there. Especially with the Shaker hood. That's, you know, is about as nostalgic as you can get. But this is the top of the line muscle car. So this would compare to like the 446 packs back in the days, Challengers and stuff like that, Chargers. This is the top of the line muscle car right now. So for me to be driving this is like, yeah, this thing is ridiculous, man. This car is ridiculous. Oh my god. Woo! Yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. I can just check this off my bucket list now. Drive a Hellcat, done. But yeah, man, this car is insane. I mean, the speeds that it reaches and the amount of time that you have is ridiculous. You almost feel like, you know, you're like Aladdin on the magic carpet or something, because it's like magic. You just hit the gas and you're gone. I don't understand how they made it so fast. I don't care how they made it so fast, but I do want to get up there and take some nice pictures, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Oh, I can't make a U-turn right here. They didn't say anything about doing a 180 though. I just saw a really nice place to take a picture where the water is. That would be a pretty good thumbnail. And see, now that I'm really getting into this YouTube thing, doing videos, I'm starting to realize that the thumbnail is like 70% of your video. If you don't have a good thumbnail, don't even worry about posting that video up. You're not really gonna get that many views. And I mean, I'm no huge YouTuber. I'm no Street Speed. I'm no Tall Guy Car Reviews. I'm no Mr. Organic. I'm none of those guys. You know, let me make this U-turn really fast. What is that noise when it does that? Good God, that sound is intoxicating, man. Like, until you get behind the wheel of a Hellcat and drive it, you are just not really going to understand what I'm talking about. Because watching all those videos on YouTube, watching Street Speed and his Hellcat, we had the 6-speed, I didn't even understand what he was talking about. So, in terms of drivability and how it makes you feel, this car passes the test. Like I said, the steering is pretty good. The brakes are phenomenal. The comfort of this car is like no other that has 700 horsepower. I mean, when you think about it, what other car can you buy anywhere that has 700 horsepower, over 600 foot-pounds of torque, has 4 doors, goes over 200 miles per hour, and is as comfortable as this car is to drive? I don't think you're gonna find it anywhere. There's no other American car other than the Cadillac CTS-V that I have to keep bringing that up because it's the only one, and that doesn't have 700 horsepower. That doesn't even have 700 horsepower. I believe that has the like the detuned version of the Z06 engine, so it should have around 650 horsepower. And I really like the interior feel of this car. I mean, it's all black, it's all dark, so you know, it just gives you like this stealthy feeling, and it just feels really, you feel really at home in this car. You don't feel like out of place. The seating position is actually pretty impressive. I feel like when I was driving the Challenger, I felt like I was a little bit higher up, like I was on top of the car. This one, you're a little bit more low slung. You feel more like you're actually driving a sporty car, and it gives you the confidence to really throw this thing in the corners more than you would do in a Challenger. But I mean, this car is just, it's ridiculous. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it's ridiculous. I can't find another word to use, but it's ridiculous. All right, get one more last good pull in. Here we go, baby. Woo! Got a little slide action going. Woohoo! All right, green light. Oh my gosh! This car is just so much fun, man. Too much fun. Oh, this car is nice.
700 horses. Ralph Lauren got the horses. 700 horses. Ralph Lauren got the horses. Horses, that's a Hellcat. Say I changed up, but I fell back. Looking like Nino, but I don't sell crack. Plug in Sacramento, good numbers, tell them mail that. Waves in the street, it's a hot summer. Bulletproof tank, that's the first Hummer. Unknowns hit me up, I got a new number. Still rocking with the same